The red mist lifts and blue skies reign supreme in English skies, I should say. And we're also getting ever so closer to who's getting the green in the Nedbank Cup. This is Onside ZA, brought to you by Betway. Get way more. Remember, if you're joining as a new user on the Betway app, use the affiliate code Onside ZA. It helps us out a lot. Joining me on the show today, Len Moleko.
Yes, sir.
Tsepi Worldwide. Hello,
Hi,
darling.
darling.
And everybody's favorite super sub.
Angu.
And welcome to you, the ballers. Remember to stay onside with us. Don't be offside, be on side. Tsepi, darling, why are you sabotaging my intro?
Hey, bro.
Favor. I'm so sorry, yeah.
After asking,
I literally asked, and no, man, it was an ad on YouTube, so I apologize.
Silent.
Stop doing YouTube free.
you know,
I can afford 49 rand.
go premium.
Go
I
premium.
can afford 49
There's no
rand on
ads.
YouTube.
Ballers, tell us, do you forgive Tsepi?
No,
No, of course they will.
They will. Come on, Marco. Why are you asking obvious questions?
The bus is written Cape Town, Chomi.
Guys, alluding to my intro, let's get into the football. I said
Rhetorics.
that a red mist, and we had the red versus blue promotion on Betway in recent weeks. Boy, oh boy, has blue won this weekend in Premier League action. Chelsea, phenomenal. Somehow, Cole Palmer,
Wow.
just sensational. Now level on goals for the season with Erling Haaland
Yeah, that's
in
crazy.
that team.
Yep. That's crazy.
Unreal stat from Cole Palmer. And of course, the bigger story in terms of blue versus red, the blue of Manchester City have now done the points swap with Liverpool and Arsenal, both teams dropping points this weekend. Len?
They're on top.
Feels good to be on top.
That is, please, let's
Hey,
we're not doing
guys,
this. We're not doing
It's
this.
Tuesday night.
No,
It's not
I
Friday
refuse.
night. I don't know. Hey, even Gift Real G saying that Tsepi is a distraction, you understand. Cold Palmer, absolutely. What a player.
The issue at hand first, you just alluded to it now, with City and Liverpool and Arsenal swapping places on the log. It's almost like one it's tempting to say we've seen this movie before. The last stretch of a league campaign almost becomes a Manchester City playing ground.
And they love a run-in. We alluded to this at the end of last season.
Yeah.
How good they are in the run-in of a season.
And what makes it even much sweeter is their fixtures are not necessarily the trickiest
Now, yeah.
in the run-in versus the other two competitors for the title.
I do think that they have the easiest run-in of the three. Relative. The only thing is they've got Real Madrid now in between tomorrow night, which could be tough. Super Sub, your version of events, I heard someone say that Arsenal's downfall is sort of like Easter. Like, you never know exactly when it's going to come, but you know it's around April, May. Like, you know, it'll differ by a few weeks. Every season, every year. It'll change by a few weeks, but it will come around this time.
That must hurt, you know. And if you look at the way Arsenal have been playing, you know, you sort of, as a football person, you sort of feel for the team and for Arteta, you know, being in a league where you have to compete with the likes of your Pep, you know, in any average season, I would like to believe that Arteta would have been up there by far. You know what I mean? And I think that's the reason why even Jurgen Klopp has decided to call it a day in EPL, because you are gonna play second best to this guy, you know, and it's not nice playing second fiddle all the time.
Look,
But I still think it's attainable. At this point, you know, us really somehow alluding towards Arteta, it being unfair that he's going to play second fiddle is a bit premature, because we still have 7 matches remaining, and really anything can happen in 7 matches.
No,
but
granted.
as it stands, you know, it is pretty hard to have introducing Arteta, man, Guardiola on top of you all the time. You also want to be a top at some point.
Yeah, so I'm looking at how he finished last season. He was very close, and at any given season, what the number of points that he accumulated, you would have won the league, right, Len? In a way,
Yeah.
But I mean, this season again, like you said, it's not over. But City, when they get to this stage of the league, they just become something else. And you can see in the manner that they played against Luton, they were intentional, and you can see that the manager is demanding more in terms of goals, because this can boil down to goal difference. They go score 5 goals. They're just on gear.
And that's been the difference for City this season to previous seasons, is they haven't been rolling teams over. Yes, they've been getting results, but they haven't been rolling teams over. And it seemed to show in the legs of the players that normally the reason why City strolls a season is because they roll a team in the first half, you're leading 4-0, 5-0, and then they relax. And it seems like City have had to do harder work this season in order to get results.
And look, the banana slip was always going to be there for both Arsenal and Liverpool.
Honestly speaking, I didn't see Liverpool's slippery
Not
coming
home to
And considering also the opponent.
One can argue
at home to Crystal Palace.
One can argue who thought that Villa would also go to town with Arsenal at home.
True.
And the thing with Villa is on the
evening.
day, Villa were actually very good.
No, they were
That is-
phenomenal.
I think that is the big difference in what I'll say between the Liverpool result and the Arsenal result.
Yes.
Villa was good.
Is that both games were actually a tale of two halves. Crystal Palace were far better than Liverpool in the first half, and
I
Liverpool
agree.
didn't manage to really recover in the second half. Whereas Arsenal were phenomenal in the first half of their game, didn't manage to put away any chances, and then Arsenal weren't bad in the second half like Liverpool were bad in their first half. But Aston Villa were exceptionally good. And even though Villa scored with their only 2 shots on target, they hit the post a few times. It's not like it was their only 2 attempts in the game. They created chances.
And looking at Liverpool as well, right? With the amount of chances that they created. In
It
the
was
second
not their
half,
day,
minus moving the goalposts and shifting them to the side, it was not like Super Sub is saying, it was not their day.
Yes, but they were, and I said earlier in the season that Liverpool's downfall will come from their slow starter status.
They were very lethargic.
If they do not win this, it's because they start games poorly.
Yeah, they start
You can't win games at the end of the game every week.
You can't always be coming from behind.
You can't.
You can't. At some point, you're going to be up front,
But even so, I mean, they were weak defensively, especially in the very first half.
As a Liverpool fan, how concerned are you with the back-to-back home defeats? I mean, 3-0 to Atlanta in the
Europa
In the
League.
Europa League.
Killed my bet slip.
Yep,
Yeah,
same
you and
here.
many, eh?
Same here. I don't know. Is it
They
Is-
look dejected, eh? Len?
is the euphoria of Klopp is leaving, is it starting to wear off? That which was carrying them for a while, is it starting to wear off?
It could be
I
that
think-
too,
okay.
but I also think that the 3-0 thumping has had a lot to do with that game. I think they psychologically they came into that game a little bit dejected. You can see with the body language, though they were trying, it was not, the atmosphere did not feel like Anfield. Even the fans, I mean, it did not look like Anfield at all. I did not feel that vibe that Liverpool has when they're playing at home. And I just feel like it stems from the results that they got against Atalanta.
Because that was a free
But I
result.
mean, it's also quite unfortunate, and because Anfield is going to stop having that appeal of it being a fortress. You come here and we will destroy you. And, once you start to lose that, if they
Yeah,
beat
2
you
games
at
in a
home,
row.
you know what I mean? So we start to then view that place as not, a place that you need to be afraid of, but just a place where you can actually go there and actually show them.
get results,
and that's
yeah.
not nice.
No. I think that would have been the Anfield of old. Even then, in patches, Liverpool, yes, they were not really a Liverpool that was a Liverpool of back in the days.
Yeah, but Kenny Dalglish.
Yes, that is a Liverpool of recent years. But even during their times of struggle, Before they
Anfield
went,
was a fortress.
that's what you get.
Yeah.
You go inside Anfield. It's the cop. It's
It's a fortress.
The atmosphere is
It's just crazy. I
phenomenal.
don't think there's an atmosphere better than that in EPL.
And that's the thing, is that do you redevelop a stadium and make it worse? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like how long Arsenal struggled to recover from moving from Highbury, which was the same sort of stadium with like fans right on top of you. It almost feels like they're falling on top of you.
Yeah.
We've seen Luton benefit from this. And then clubs want to build like a new world-class facility. And if Liverpool choose to do that, like we're expecting Manchester United to do next, we're expecting other clubs to like redevelop their stadiums, especially these heritage teams. Will they lose that atmosphere? And the answer is absolutely yes. You
But I
look at
guess-
the Emirates versus Highbury in
Yeah.
terms of intimidation factor, even though there's more people there, it's I believe the Emirates is the biggest seat size in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So that means their capacity of the stadium is smaller because they decided to make those sacrifices to
Make
have
it-
bigger seats.
But I
Even
mean,
Whitehead
also there's
Lane.
also, I think that's why you would notice that most stadiums that are going to be built or are in the process of being built or being upgraded, is that's why they have the retractable roof, because they do understand that if they do develop a stadium, make it bigger, for example, then the atmosphere or the ambience is going to be affected, and that's why they cover it at the top. Remember what happened last time in the Champions
at
League?
Real Madrid.
It didn't
Of
really
course.
help
It
if
didn't
we
help.
think about it.
Well,
But I was
in
alluding to
retrospect.
what Marco is saying, Tepi, is and with White Hart Lane, I feel like when they moved to the new stadium as well, it was not like as harsh as it was. you
Yeah.
know, that old White
Well,
Hart
look
Lane.
at Luton. Luton's the most harsh stadium in the Premier League right now. I don't think Bournemouth is a great place to go to
But it's
either.
harsh.
It's these old stadium. I mean, Stoke City was a terrible place to go. It was both the style of play under Tony Pulis, but
And
also
the-
those intimidating fans, right?
Well, and the weather was not necessarily
yeah, it's
the coolest.
on a rainy day in
big
Stoke, as they always say,
Yes.
right?
But I just generally think, yes, the Anfield lot were dejected, as you say, going on to lose against Palace. Palace went to that game with a game plan. They don't really have much to be playing for. If we look at it, they say
They'll survive. They say.
they'll survive. But it's just Liverpool who almost, I want to say, they played themselves in that fixture, because with the chances that they missed, is it a case of whoever's new that's going to come in, does that person now need to be thinking, okay, I don't have a marksman.
And does Salah stay?
There's also that question.
I don't think Salah is gonna stay. Actually, I think it's playing his last season.
Where do you think
Yeah.
he's going to potentially go?
Saudi is gonna go.
Saudi.
Saudi.
He's going there.
He's a Muslim.
He's a
To his
Muslim.
people anyway.
It's gonna feel at home. Many of Muslim players.
And he's going to have very, very, very full pockets.
Yeah, it's gonna have
Yeah.
a very big salary. He's married. They don't have to make arrangements for him like other players.
Oh, wow.
But maybe for him to get married, there was an arrangement that was made.
yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, look at
Just
you.
saying, but like, yeah.
Look at you.
I think I'm just wrapping up this the title race conversation
We're not wrapping it up. Why are you wrapping it up?
because
No,
we've got plenty
Marco
to talk
will
about.
tell us when we are wrapping out the title
What
race.
is going on?
Hey, there's a yellow card for you. Let
What's
Len
going
finish
on?
his thoughts.
Please, yes.
Please.
I
Please.
think the title race
Continue.
is not over.
Yeah.
Like Tepi said,
Not
there's
by a
still-
long shot.
There's still a couple of games left, but it's almost at that point of it's advantage City now.
Absolutely.
And I think it's gonna be musical chairs until the end of the. It might even go to the last day of the season, which we obviously would all want to see and see which team actually has the nerve. But on the balance of things, Liverpool and Arsenal have trickier fixtures than Man City does.
Something quite interesting. I was watching a video. Who's that guy that I met at the Euros? Ozzy. Okay, I'll remember him. Long story short is this. He has a
we went to the
podcast.
Euros.
No. At the Euro party.
yes.
You're talking about Mikel.
Mikel,
John Obi Mikel.
yes.
In his podcast,
Yes,
right?
yes, the Oz, yes. And they were interviewing Mourinho, and they asked him who he thinks is going to come out victorious, who's going to be, the winner. And he said that it is going to be Man City 51. Well, and it's going to be Liverpool leading. You didn't even mention Arsenal, by the way.
Yeah, so I actually saw that clip.
You
and
saw it, hey? And
Ballers, you
it
would
was
have seen it
posted
too
on
because
our
it was posted
stories.
on the Onside ZA
Yes.
social media pages. So
Yes,
be
yes,
sure to
yes.
head on over to socials at Onside ZA and also follow Super Sub.
Yobo, please
Super
follow
Sub
me.
_ Onside
ZA.
ZA on
Danko.
Instagram.
I need
Danko.
to get to 50 followers. Come on.
Come
Many
on.
friends.
50 fella, man.
There's
Hey.
94 of you watching right now. Come
Like.
on. Go
Follow
to
me,
Instagram.
guys.
Super Sub _
I follow
Onside
back, I
ZA.
promise.
Cheers.
Maybe you can figure out who he is. Okay, now I retract your yellow card. I give you a blue card, which is now
Oh, the new
wrapped
thing.
up.
Okay, Danko
Super
Mark.
Sub, quick thoughts. Manchester City title race going all the way. I think Len Moleko said it perfectly. It's not done, but in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's definitely not done. And with City now going to play the FA Cup in the weekend, Arsenal and Liverpool gets to test the top again. And that just pushed pressure again at City, which we know most of the time that they can handle. But again, this is football. Anything can happen. So it is City's title to lose. And if we're going to go with history, Pep does not panic. You know, those players that are there, majority of them have done it, I think, 3 times round in a row where they go top and then come game week, they're second, and then the Sunday they go back top. So they've done it quite some time, but anything in football can still happen. So, but it's City's title to lose.
Question.
Yeah.
And I know they've done this before. Do you not think the welcoming of Real Madrid tomorrow, the FA Cup on the weekend,
They have FA.
and then returning back to league football might just be a little bit of a deterrence
It's most probably going to have
in
some
terms
effect.
of how... Do you think something might be lost there? Let me put it that way.
Nah, look, I mean, knowing Pep, you know, look at how he lined up against Luton. Players like Foden was not playing. You know, he's ready to face Madrid tomorrow. You know, so he can jungle that squad. You know, especially the upfront, which is what you need. You know, and especially with Walker now, I think he's gonna be back for tomorrow. So I think
That's
the depth
good.
is good enough to go all the way. You know, if you win a treble, it means that you've got the capabilities and you've got the personnel to actually go all the way. I don't think they're going to be issues there. If they go past Real Madrid there,
That squad is deep enough. I agree with you. So just to allude to what you mentioned, Len Moleko, obviously Arsenal and Liverpool will have played by the end of this Sunday.
Yeah.
and
Wolves and Fulham, eh?
yes, correct.
Fulham.
So Liverpool have to travel to Craven Cottage. Arsenal have to travel to Wolves'
The Molyneux.
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 You mean, yeah. And then City have to wait until Thursday before they play Brighton because of their FA Cup fixture.
Yeah.
And
Which is a tricky
a
fixture as
pebble
well.
a pebble in the road for a team of Manchester City who have a very deep squad. Last thoughts, and I'm going to go to the comments on this one about the title race. Just as we close up, NK Malloy, there's 2 comments here that I want to mention from you, saying, I truly think it's a disgrace that Man City might win another treble with 115 charges.
Wow.
That's a discussion point.
No, it is.
He also says City have got the experience and the squad depth to go on and win this title. You have to agree with that. We've
Yep.
all said that City definitely in the driver's seat. It's not going to be simple, straightforward, and I don't think it's going to be as easy a title win as they've had in the past.
Yeah.
This is still going to be the best title race we've seen in years because it is still a 3-way title race, and I think it's going down probably almost at least till the second last weekend.
Yeah.
But I think this title race will go to the last day.
Yeah.
I think also it's a case of certain teams are not used to the intensity of fighting on such high level grounds.
And 3 fronts.
No. City they've been doing it for the past couple of seasons with the same players. Liverpool, the bulk of their senior players and those ones that were actually able to have the mental nerve or the nerves of steel to actually be Champions Leaguing, FA Cupping and league winning, what. Some of them have gone. Your Firminos are gone, your Sadio Manes are gone, and the likes. And with the injury list that they had in recent weeks, the babies were just too happy to play. Like, yo, I'm getting first team football, and on Monday I'm gonna go back to school, be like, did you see me on TV, my boy? But they don't have that mental edge.
And
but
Arsenal on the
I think-
other side, we
yeah.
can't say the same because you've got Arteta, who was part of that Manchester team that achieved that league title with playing going toe to toe rather with Liverpool, and you would like to believe that he understands that this is crunch time and this is when you need to urge your boys to go all the way. You have got Zinchenko, who was part of Manchester team. You've got Jesus, who was also part of Manchester team.
They were not.
Does that
They were not key.
influence?
They were not key personnel in that Manchester team.
Yeah. Let's
just to
do
close it-
closing thoughts on the
Yes.
on the title race. Super Sub, your closing thoughts.
No, it's City's to lose, but
100%.
anything can still happen.
Len Moleko.
Mind says Liverpool might just pull it off. That's what the mind says. The heart obviously will say
Arsenal.
and
So
then
City, what's saying City?
no, they must deal with their 150 charges.
Okay. Let's see, darling.
I think that Man City, like Super Sub just mentioned, that they have been able to, they're like a Mamelodi Sundowns to me. They can work in a domestic cup. They can then do a CAF. They can do a young cup, do an FA and the like. And I think it's actually great that, Liverpool is not in Europa anymore.
No, they still
the
are.
Euros.
They can turn it around.
Oh, yeah. With
On
Atalanta.
Thursday,
They can turn
But
it
I
around.
think it would be in the
They've
best
done it
interest.
before, Marco, against Barcelona.
May I say? It's in the best interest, to be honest, if they really want to focus on the title race and to also make their father, Jurgen Klopp, proud, is for them to focus on that. When it comes to Arsenal, to be honest with you, I feel as though them having to compete in Champions League and also want to, go towards the title race is going to be a bit of a challenge for them. Whereas, Guardiola is very composed. He's done it before. And you can see that they are not as flustered as some teams may come across as right now.
Speaking of the Champions League, we have kicked off in both Dortmund and
now,
Barcelona,
yes.
and Barcelona leading PSG by 1-0. That moves the scoreline to 4-2 on aggregate. Looking very good for Barcelona ever since Xavi has announced that he won't be the manager of Barcelona.
Things are
Their fortunes have
changing.
turned around.
Funny.
Yeah, and there's rumor
I've
that
noticed.
they are trying to convince him to stay because the project that
I
they were
think
trying
it's
to,
more than a rumor. I think that's absolute truth. There's,
Yeah.
there's no way that they want him to leave because the project is looking good under him now.
the project is looking good. And let's be fair, the man just started, and with all these young players that are coming
With
through
no
the
money.
floor, Yamal and all of that, it's you give a man a chance. I think
Stadium changes, all of these things
All
have
of
played
this-
against him, and they're actually performing quite well at
They're
this
very
point.
resilient.
yeah.
Is it a mind game, him saying, I haven't changed my mind, I'm still leaving at the end of the season? Nothing, but I mean, clearly him saying he's leaving has been the turning point mentally for the squad. Is he going to just go with this narrative until the end of the season and then be like,
Egg in your face, yeah.
I'm staying.
And by the way, they
You
are
know?
leading right now.
What was that Jordan Belfort in Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
Going, I'm not leaving.
One of the best movies.
I'm not leaving.
actually.
Love that movie.
Yeah, crazy.
But Barcelona, their fortunes have changed somewhat. I mean,
Yeah,
they were,
somewhat. Yeah, I agree with you.
they were a team in absolute tatters. The whole Lionel Messi saga, leaving the Bernabeu, presidents being accused of all sorts of things, and things just not looking like they're working out.
Their finances as well.
The
Their
mess is not
finances
matching.
were a mess, but it seems like that ship has been steadied somewhat. A couple of good young players, like you alluded to, have come into the side.
Yeah.
They've shown a level of resilience. Like, yeah, we're not Real Madrid, but we can almost like try punch above our weight. And they've got some pretty decent pictures. Decent players. The Gavis of this world.
No, definitely.
He's a proper talent.
Felix,
João
I don't know
Felix,
what's the
Pedri.
situation.
Pedri as well. So they do have.
They still have Lewandowski.
They've got him as well.
Yep.
He's not as lethal as when he
Of
was.
course.
I must
back
call
in
him
his
Uncle
days.
Lawa.
Yeah, shame.
But they're trying. They punching above what we had seen over the past couple of years, and maybe perhaps who knows, Xavi might decide that
Let me stay.
I'm not going.
Moving back to the Premier League, obviously I wanted to divert quickly to the Champions League and Barcelona just because they are playing. Things still level in Dortmund at 0-0, giving Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, my apologies, the advantage in that one, as they were victors by 2-1 in Madrid. So we will keep a close eye on that one as we build. One last question on Arsenal, just because a baller has asked you, Len Moleko. I've now lost the comment, but it was basically, will Arsenal fans still continue to trust the process even if Arsenal fail to win any trophies this season?
We have to.
I mean, it's not like it's bad.
Yes, we
what
have
are you going to do? Replace the manager and
can
then
just do
lose to
better.
City again?
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again
expecting different
results.
it's not like asking a Man United fan, do you replace Ten Hag? Because even as a Man United
That's a
fan, when
valid
you say,
question.
do you replace Ten Hag? I'll say, with who?
Oh, if you are Garnacho, you
Didn't
go
they
and
say
like that
Solskjaer's
post.
coming back?
What's that going to do?
Exactly.
Also, like,
Yeah.
and Gareth Southgate, what's that going to do? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, even as a Man United fan, where you can see things aren't working, they're playing badly.
Yeah.
I think Man United are higher up in the league than what their performances have shown. And they're not anywhere in the league as far as Man United should be.
A team
Right.
in regression.
Absolutely. So you can't say that about Arsenal. I think Arsenal are overperforming relative to maybe the squad in a way. I mean, besides Odegaard being fantastic, Saka fantastic. I mean, good players, but Arteta has done a phenomenal job with that squad, where a very good manager that we saw, good evening, for Aston Villa, Unai Emery, couldn't get much out of a similar set of players to Arteta. I mean,
But was he
keep the
given?
faith. I think-
Was he given enough chance?
I agree with that sentiment as well. And I think that if
'Cause he
you were
was
to come
cooking.
to me as a Man United fan now and say, listen, you could get him as a manager, I'd be like, give it a punt.
Yeah.
But also remember, when Unai was there, the Lacazettes of this world were still there. The Ozils of this world were still there.
Problematic characters.
Who did he buy? There's two players
Pierre
that
Aubameyang
did he
was
buy
there.
Martinelli.
No, Martinelli was brought in by Edu.
Oh, okay.
He actually didn't buy anyone.
Okay,
There's a
but he
sporting
was
director.
there.
Neither did Arteta really buy anyone. I think they're part of discussions.
Yeah.
But Edu is the man that's responsible for
Makes the
building this
decisions.
Arsenal squad.
Yeah, sure.
So he came in an era whereby there were, those rotten potatoes there in the bag.
Yeah.
And when Arteta came in as manager, first thing he did was get rid of those guys.
Yeah. Including Ube.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look at Arsenal where it is now. By
Number 3.
It's fine. By all accounts, in terms of squad improvement, I think they've been the most improved side in the Premier League over the past 3-4 years.
I couldn't agree with that more. And
I can't argue that.
let's move on from the title chasers slightly further down the league. Newcastle United giving a good solid thumping to Spurs.
Wow.
And that has implications on Champions League and European spots as Newcastle leapfrog Manchester United into 6th position. Aston Villa leapfrog Tottenham into 4th position, and that now automatic Champions League space, because we do expect 5 positions to be going to English sides, although Italy seemingly already taking one of those slots. So one slot could still see England losing that extra Champions League space to either Spain or Germany, with the way Bayer Leverkusen's performing.
Yeah.
You could still see, especially if Arsenal go out to Bayern Munich, you could see only top 4 being Champions League places in the English Premier League instead of top 5.
Spurs need to punch above some level of weight, because if you look at their run-in, they still have Arsenal. After Arsenal, they've got Chelsea.
They have
After
Liverpool.
Chelsea, they've got Liverpool. After Liverpool, they've got, Burnley, I wouldn't be too worried about them per se. And then after Burnley, they've got Man City. So in their next 5 games,
They might not even finish 5th.
It might be very hard because
But they
out of those
far
5
ahead.
games, it's very highly probable for them to lose against Arsenal,
They're going to lose
Liverpool,
9
and
points.
Manchester City.
Yeah. 9 gone.
Because
But-
those 2, they're going to be gunning for those 3 points.
Guys,
I mean,
they're-
those 3.
and
They're
Cole Palmer,
10 points ahead of Newcastle and Manchester United. 10 points.
Imagine.
And Cole Palmer with the Chelsea, don't disregard him as yet, because he's showing that, like, I take the penalty, not you, Jackson. But
and Chelsea's horror show of a season has them with one game in hand on Manchester United and only 3 points behind them. If Chelsea win their game in hand, they leapfrog both West Ham and Manchester United.
What?
yes, Chelsea could actually
After
make
that horror
Europe.
show of a season, they could still make European football.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing about Chelsea also is that they are so inconsistent.
They
that
got Cole Palmer.
You can't even, cross your fingers.
So that was an interesting fixture. Looking elsewhere in the league, big implications with that victory for Chelsea on Everton, who keep getting docked points. They can't win in the courtroom. They can't win on the pitch. Are we seeing the end of Everton? They still have to play Liverpool in a derby.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's been one-sided for a long time. So
They're still a point ahead of Forest with a game in hand and 2 points ahead of Luton, having a game in hand on Luton as well. I think that Burnley and Sheffield United both gone. I mean, Burnley had an opportunity to sort of step out, like put some more pressure on.
they had a perfect opportunity. Had they won that game, and then going to Sheffield.
on a team like Brighton, who's
You know what I mean?
and we're talking about managers.
That mistake
here.
was costly. Mistake was costly.
De Zerbi not looking like the master manager that he once looked like.
Nah, he's not. I think
So-
he's the energy of that team has just fiddled out. For some odd reason, Brighton has just became average.
They might just wake up and
That's your heart.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. Anyway, I'm looking at the relegation scrap that's happening. Essentially, you've got Luton, Forest, Everton, Brentford to a
Brentford are
degree.
safe. Nah, Brentford are 7 points clear of Luton.
That's 3 games of banana peels, and you could,
Yeah, but I
there's
mean,
5 games left.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
I
2
think
or
we
3
start
games of
from
that, and
Forest,
the
Luton,
others
Burnley,
are
and
winning
Sheffield.
their
Okay,
games.
but you're expecting Luton, Forest, and Everton to all leapfrog Brentford.
I don't see that.
All 3 of them have to. I think Brentford is the cutoff for safety.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just accused Crystal Palace of being safe, and they're on 33
And they literally
points.
just above.
Nah, see, from
Brentford.
Palace, I think, okay, Brentford up.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's safe.
I think Everton, Forest, and Luton are the ones fighting for that last position because I think Burnley and Sheffield United are gone.
In fact, I'm of the belief that
Burnley wins 2 games. They're up there. Eh?
but that's
But
assuming
will they?
Luton
No one
and
else
Forest
wins
must
any
lose.
other games, and they have to win 2 of 5.
Yeah,
Burnley.
not true.
How many? I mean, Burnley. You're
don't see
expecting
that.
Burnley to win 2 games out of their last 5. They've won 4 in 33.
Yeah, man, they were leading against Brighton. Eh?
Yeah, they were leading.
They should have won that game.
Ballers
Yes,
come,
but even so, and-
take me away from the insanity and agree with me. Burnley
Yeah, and
gone,
even
surely,
so,
right?
I mean,
And-
Burnley still has to.
No,
I mean,
Burnley's gone.
Sheffield
I'm
is a
just
walk in
saying
the
that-
park. But they still have a Manchester United, they still have a Tottenham, and they still have a Newcastle to contend against. And I don't see them really winning any of these matches.
They could negotiate.
They could do a
They
Forest.
could negotiate 3 wins in their remaining games.
Who's that? Burnley?
Yeah, if Burnley apply themselves against Sheffield,
and
that's
no,
3
and
points.
Forest.
Man United
Nah, I
is
don't
never
see
a
it.
make-sure team.
No, I don't see it. Though.
Newcastle won't happen. Tottenham
Never.
likely won't happen.
Nope.
And against Forest as well.
They can
And
take Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brentford up. I think it's safe, Marco.
Yes, no, that's what Marco said.
That's what I said.
I
I think
agree with
Brentford
you.
up. Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think that Everton definitely in trouble. Especially, I mean, they might even get docked more points. We don't even know what's going to happen in this.
But you know who I would like to see go. Like I feel like Luton has done enough to fight to be in the Premier League this season.
So far,
I agree.
I think Forest, Burnley, Sheffield can just pack their bags. So
you know what would be really upsetting for if it's not Luton to go down, because we've said Brentford is safe.
Yeah.
It would be either Forest or Everton who go down. And what we see there would be that a team is going down because of financial fair play, not because of results on the pitch.
Yeah.
So if Luton is the team that survives out of those, you will see a team get relegated based on financial fair play regulation
Because both
in
Everton,
the same season that you're likely to see a team with 115 charges
Yeah.
win the league title.
that
And
you know,
what would
That
that
is a big
say?
discrepancy. Exactly.
What would that say? If
No.
Luton survive and
Yes.
either Forest or Everton go down, not from
Because
results
of-
on the pitch, because of financial fair play regulations, and Manchester City win this league title, with 115 charges on their name that they still have to face.
Yeah.
What does that say about the league and the regulations and but just away from the football, the politics of the Premier League?
It says Man City have got better
Then you
lawyers
say-
than other teams.
Yeah, then you say money talks.
Is it really money?
No,
Money is
Or is it
influence,
to
and
get the
influence is
statue of a
litigation.
team?
No, it's litigation because remember, in order to have, when you have money, then you have influence. When you have influence, you get the best people to represent you, and that would then mean what?
So I don't believe it's actually due to representation, and that's why I like what Super Sub is saying.
It's a
Yeah.
statue of a team.
Is that
guys.
it's not necessarily the legal representation, but the structure in how Man City have gone around shuffling things to not get penalized immediately. So it's like, oh, we're going to put money here, we're going to put money there, we're going to hide it this way, whatever. It's something that
But that
Everton
would
and
mean
Forest
that-
have not been
yes,
able
but
to
that
do.
would
But I
mean
can
that
tell
the
you
league
now-
is actually not doing what they need to be doing. They're
But
not
I
doing
can
their
tell
due
you now
diligence the way they need to be doing.
that
Well, these sort of things take time if you're moving things around in that way.
I can tell you now that
the chickens.
well, most
They will
probably
come to
they
roost.
will have to face those charges. But as to what happened, we'll see, right? But the floodgates would have been opened. It's gonna be chaos.
Okay, so back to the Champions League. Borussia Dortmund level things up on aggregate with a goal from Julian Brandt. And
He's still around.
he's still around somehow.
Damn.
Somehow.
I
So
thought he's in Saudi.
So that game currently heading towards extra time and penalties if things remain the way they
extra
are.
time.
There's
Yes,
There
if
should
it,
be.
remember,
and
there's no
penalties.
more. There's no
There's
away
more
goal.
away
Oh,
goal
okay,
rule.
so
So
they
it'll be
opted
extra
for-
time and
okay.
penalties. But in more interesting news, and thank you, Ballers, for the updates on this, a red card in the Barcelona versus PSG game where Barcelona are leading 4-2 on aggregate. Ronald Araujo
Araujo.
getting a red card in that game. And PSG now with an opportunity to come at Barcelona and try and level things up. I like the one comment here from DJ King T saying, without Araujo, Barca's defense is going to crumble. Mbappe is going to have a field day there.
But Mbappe looked very meek last week.
He looks gone. Like he's no
Detached.
longer
Maybe
that
he's just
team,
not
yeah.
interested anymore because
Yeah.
he knows what his prospects are.
No, he's no longer there. He's
Yeah.
not the Mbappe that we know.
And you would have thought in this regard, now that the spotlight is solely on him, there's
You
no
wanna prove a
Messi,
bit.
there's no Neymar. It's all about Kylian Mbappe.
He
Maybe
tried.
that's the Mbappe that we're gonna see next season.
At Real Madrid.
No, but maybe that's a
We
different
don't know
Mbappe
if he's
we're
going
going
to Real Madrid
see.
or not.
Maybe he doesn't want to play his future employers yet.
That's what I'm,
No, but he avoids them because he goes to meet Atleti in
Does
the
he
semis.
avoid them in the final?
Assuming they're going to get to the final.
That what I'm saying is like, go out now.
Because they're going to face an English team and chances are they're gonna get whipped.
PSG don't win Champions League titles.
They don't do that in Paris, man.
they are too
And
handsome.
this is not the best PSG side that we've seen in the Champions League.
Yeah.
But this is the
I
second.
saw a tweet from someone saying, take Mbappe out of this PSG team and the rest of the squad looks like they would be at Wolves.
No, not Marco Asensio, guys.
Okay,
Come
not
on.
Wolves.
Marco Asensio.
Yeah, I hear where Marco is going and the
I'm saying
sentiment
it wasn't
of the
my
tweet.
tweet. I said I saw a tweet. And I looked at it and I was like,
He's got a point, maybe, but nah.
I don't see
I
Marco
refuse.
Asensio joining one of the top 3 sides in England right now.
Marco Asensio.
I don't see him joining one of the top 3 sides in England.
I would
right
even
now.
stretch it to 4.
You can.
He wouldn't join Aston Villa.
I said, are you saying top in stature or top in top 4 now as it currently stands?
Are you saying Manchester United can't do with Marco Asensio?
Hey man, Man United could even do with me. Like there's problems there. Like there's a lot of problems at Man United.
A goalkeeper lent to replace Onana. Okay, I want to close off Premier League. I know that we've got distracted a little bit, but just because of the comments, legendary me saying Sheffield United and Burnley have already planned for another season in the Championship. Neo Isaacs saying Burnley out already as well. If Luton were to join them in going down, what's significant about that?
If who's
Luton were to join both Burnley and Sheffield United in going down, what's the significance in that?
Look, I don't think there is much significance, but
I
for
would
me-
say there's significance because of one reason and one reason only. Those are the 3 newly promoted sides. All 3 of them going immediately back down. It shows the jump between Championship and Premier League football.
But I'd also say that if Luton and Sheffield and Burnley are the ones that get relegated, then I'd say that Everton has staying power and they are resilient,
I think they
given
I
the
think,
circumstances.
Well, especially
No, I get
because
your
of,
point, Marco.
Yeah.
I
But
think
what I'm
Everton-
saying is that it shows how
the
difficult the
gap.
Premier League is.
Yeah.
And
The
actually
gap.
looking at that, you
It will
see
be the
that it's
first time,
already,
actually, eh?
again, it will be one of the first times that we've seen it in history. And once again, remember the only other two sides that we are saying are in danger are Forest and Everton. Both teams have been deducted points. So it shows how difficult the Premier League is, because the Championship, we always say it, is a competitive league. It's really tough. The Championship's a really, really good level of football. But it shows how top the Premier League is that it's hard. If you come up, it's almost like a guarantee. Go back down.
with the
And
championship.
the mistake
Okay, just a bit
that-
of a highlight. Very, very quickly, guys. So PSG has equalized immediately
lo,
after
lo,
the red
lo.
card. And Dortmund is leading 2-0 against Atletico.
Oh, lo, the
Already.
fixtures turning around.
Yeah, shame.
Imagine Jordan Sancho goes on to win a Champions League medal.
On loan.
Wow.
Wow.
That will be some fairy tale
It
story.
shows, it will go to show
There'll
you
be
that
like a lot of fairy tale stories, eh?
you were talking about Marco Asensio and like Manchester United being able to use you. Manchester United's playing staff, there's clearly quality there. There's something else wrong.
And now I asked, is it the coach or is it the guys in the suits or is it the jacuzzi?
Probably all of the above.
No, but I mean, we've already
first,
discussed
suits,
this. Did we not have a
second,
chat about
Ten
this
Hag
to say
third.
that you guys do have quality?
But then do you keep him or does it go though? And I think that's a burning question leading to the end of the season.
We'll keep Eric.
Yes.
Look, I mean,
I think
let
he
the man cook, man. He's been doing a very good job.
With the Parma stuff.
For you as a Man City fan, doing a good job of ruining Manchester
Let me
United
tell
as a
you
legacy.
something. A United team requires a manager that has got who's courageous as Eric Ten Hag.
So
Somebody
no
that
midfield. That's very courageous. Five up front, four at the back.
okay,
One
Marco.
midfield.
I'll say this now. Look at how he managed like personnel. Modern day football, a lot of times players have got more say than the manager, and Eric Ten Hag did not allow that. And
Maybe that could be a challenge sometimes.
the success that Manchester United had, it was because they had a leader that understood that players needs to have the place in the team and there's limitations to what you can influence in the team. And Eric Ten Hag is this, it's sort of like a replica of what Ferguson was.
My question then becomes, while we are still on this Man United thing, let's look at the players. You say the quality is there,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
Name me 3 Man United players that could crack the starting 11 of the top 3 teams in the league right now.
There's a lot. Len.
Kobe Mainu,
Kobe Manu,
Okay.
Casemiro,
Yep.
Casemiro.
Which team to replace who?
Arsenal.
Who? To replace who?
He'll join Declan Rice in
Rice.
midfield.
Yeah, they will cook together.
Even you must remember, we're talking about Casemiro, a player who on his good days at Man United, we've seen some real
When he's
quality,
not being
and when he was at
unlucky.
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So it's the team that's letting him down. I think Marcus Rashford plays for any one of the top 3 sides when he's Marcus Rashford,
And
right?
Garnacho as well.
He's still doing
Garnacho
it for the,
as well.
He's still doing it for the babies.
Hoyland.
No.
No, I don't know. Hoyland we can't say as yet, right?
Really why?
It's a bit soon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit soon. I mean, he's only proven himself mildly at Atalanta, and in a short spell at Manchester United, he was in form. But Marcus Rashford, we know the quality. When Marcus Rashford's firing, you know the quality of that man. So there's something wrong at Manchester United. Harry Maguire is a player that the top club went really hard for before Man United outbid them.
But with
So
The
the problems
makeup-
are in the club.
the makeup of the squad, right? I'm surely
I wanted to leave Premier League long ago, but it's fine. This Man United discussion is for FA Cup.
there's a part where the players have to take accountability themselves, though. It's easy to blame a coach because he's one person.
100%, I agree. So
Right.
we were just arguing that the quality is there. There's something else wrong at the club. So it could be culture. It could be several things. It's probably all of those things in a small way. It's the culture of the club. It's the management. It's the manager.
The administration.
The administration as a whole. The whole culture of the club was ruined by Jesse Lingard and Paul Pogba already. Who knows what it is? But it's not the quality of the playing staff.
I just think the coaching
you know why
staff
why
Do
are
you
you
think-
signing players like Anthony?
Do you think that very same team could be a title contender come next season with everybody else around them, with the Cities of this world, the Arsenals of this world, Spurs who are trying to get themselves together, Chelsea who might just, Aston Villa, because now, in as much as we're saying the Premier League is tough at the bottom, the top is not necessarily a walk in the park either.
I think the top four.
It's extremely tough. It's extremely tough. But Manchester United, in terms of quality, have more quality than Villa, have more quality than Spurs, have more quality than Newcastle.
Only
have more
Watkins could walk into a Man United starting 11.
I agree, but that's because Man United
Arsenal,
the only
Manchester
place-
City. Ali is a great player. He can walk
He
at
can-
any team.
I agree. Ollie Watkins, not Man City, because Haaland is a better striker.
yeah.
But he walks into Arsenal today, Ollie Watkins.
Yes.
And does
He
what?
walks into Liverpool today.
Easy.
Because is Darwin
He's better
Núñez
than
better than
Núñez.
Ollie Watkins?
No.
He is certainly not. I think Ollie Watkins walks in
At almost all the
at
teams.
every team except Manchester City.
Just because of Haaland.
and Brentford, maybe, because Ivan Toney, I think, is maybe a smidge
yeah.
above Ollie Watkins. But other than those two, I think Ollie Watkins is like, you can't argue he's number 3 in the Premier League as a striker.
right
around
now
there.
is the hottest
No,
striker.
This season, I'd put him 1 or 2. Also considering that
Ivan Toney played
did
half a
half a
season.
season. Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the FA Cup. Manchester United against Coventry on Sunday at Wembley at 4:30. Guys, surely it's Coventry.
No, United are in the final.
This is Man United we're talking about, guys.
No, I think come on,
If
bro.
anyone can throw it away, it is Man United. But surely Coventry have, applause to them for going this far.
Yes, and
But
they were
this,
quite resilient against Wolves also. In
it's-
order to get to where they are.
Yeah, it's crazy to think they go further. I mean, we wouldn't be completely shocked, but if you're making a prediction, if you're putting your money down,
No, of course I'm going to go
you're
for
going
Man
to go
United.
for Manchester
Yes.
United.
Yeah.
But we won't be sitting here next week being like, I have no words. We'll be Man United season's collapsed and, it couldn't have got any worse, but it did. And it's Coventry that kicks Man United out of the FA Cup.
I think it would be nice for a morale boost for Man United to at least get to the next stages.
And to be in the final of the
Yes,
FA Cup.
but also
a
remember
repeat
that-
of last year's final.
Yeah, but remember that Coventry is also going to want to make sure that they prove some type of point that they beat another Premier League team.
That's going to be...
So that's also going to be a factor.
That's a factor, is that there's going to be
Yeah.
11 players on that pitch
Yeah,
that are going to give everything they have, because this is going to be the biggest game of
it's
their
huge
lives
for them.
ever again.
Exactly.
And also, it's Wembley.
It's Wembley.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Oh, and Coventry are not, they a tad bit far from making the playoffs. So
Yeah.
them getting...
No, this
This
is the
is all
biggest
they
game
can
for
play
those
for,
players for the
basically.
rest of their
the
lives.
cherry on
Yeah.
the cake for them.
Manchester City against Chelsea, Saturday, 6:15 local time.
I'm fencing the Manchester Derby final.
I'm fencing
I think
it.
so. Repeat of last season.
I think Chelsea versus Man United.
You think so?
I think Man City can do without having to contend with another competition. They have enough going on
one
on
more
their
game.
plate.
Just one more game.
Well,
Okay.
true.
What do you mean
No,
they can...
as in they have
what?
to play this game on the weekend anyway.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's that one and that one.
They can really do with... Hey, that's Manchester City you're talking about. There's no such
Excuse
thing.
us.
I think
okay?
also...
I think that it's hard to think that Man City can win another treble. But
It's not far-fetched, though.
as you look at things now, and you were to predict a
1,
path
2,
logically,
3,
Man City will have a double at the end of this season.
7.
Not a treble.
Well, I'm saying if you look at things logically,
Realistically.
you have to say a double. A treble will be hard because they still have to overcome Real Madrid tomorrow and then whoever they face in the next round. There's still a lot to do in the Champions League.
And then fight in the
And
league.
fight in the
Yes,
league and whatever. It's a lot to do.
It's a
So
lot.
it's not impossible.
But remember, Super Sub just said to me, it's Man City. What do you mean? So
yeah, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying, you can't really say they can really do without another
But
competition.
looking
they
at-
want
Yeah, but
everything.
given the circumstances.
We just said, talking about the Premier
Yeah.
League, that Man City are in the driver's seat for the Premier League. They certainly in the driver's seat for FA Cup.
Yeah.
They just have to overcome Chelsea and Manchester United,
Yeah,
and you expect them to do that.
Chelsea with Cole
Chelsea-
Palmer flying like
At the moment,
yeah,
it's a
gonna
tough
be
game
tough
for
one.
City,
It's
and I
gonna
think
be a
it's a
tough one.
harder game to call than Man United versus Coventry.
And
also,
Chelsea is not a walk in the park if they're playing a
Absolutely.
big team.
especially against Manchester
Give
City.
real
Exactly.
G. Why?
It's not
Why,
a
bro?
joke.
Yeah.
Coventry easy win, legendary Coventry win.
And also take into account, might be the easiest way for Chelsea to actually make Europe.
a lot of players saying that I agree, although it's also Man United's best option into Europe, maybe.
And I think it would
And-
be smart for Chelsea if they really plan, if they manage the game well, that they go into extra time and then penalties. Because chances are then Man City, because of all these matches they had to play, might not have the legs to go as far as extra time and then pens.
But they've got, and that's the thing. Man City
Yeah.
they've got the squad.
Yeah,
The Julian
I mean-
Alvarez will most likely play in that
Rico
match.
De
Lewis.
Bruyne, Nyana.
Luis De Bruyne.
Oh no,
you
De Bruyne
decide-
will play in Champions League.
You decide whether you use him. No. I think Foden will be in the
Well,
team
remember
for
he
Champions
didn't,
League.
he didn't even play last
He
time.
didn't play
Yes.
exactly,
Listen,
so
guys,
we'll
there's-
see what
So
happens.
there's options on the bench.
These players
Yeah.
are fit and firing. They will play tomorrow and they will play on Saturday as well.
Yeah,
He's going
I'm
to choose
watching-
his best 11 available to him both games.
But
He's not going to play the tactical.
There are instances
Mm.
when we were watching the Champions League last week during our watch along, and I think we mentioned this. Somebody like Rodri looks tired. Rodri has almost probably played, minus games where he was red carded or suspended. Rodri has played every single minute of every game.
But I
He
think
has
he's
to
young
play
enough
against Real
also.
Madrid.
Yeah.
Yes, and he looked. Yes, last week if you looked at the Man City setup properly, Rodri looked knackered.
Okay, so it's happening at Wembley Stadium, Saturday the 20th and Sunday the 21st.
Okay, so then an analysis on Coventry versus Manchester United. People talking about Coventry going to win, going to beat Manchester United. Let's do a real analysis. Man United struggle against teams that sit deep. Man United tend to perform better against the bigger sides who push them and then they hit them on the counter-attack, which bodes well for Coventry. However, remember Coventry have gotten this far in this tournament on smaller pitches, on tighter grounds, places like Molineux and their own home stadium and things like that. Wembley's a larger pitch. It'll favor a fitter, more professional outfit like Manchester United. So that will favor them as well. So if you want the tactical analysis here, ballers, there you have it. Manchester
think-
United will be favored by the Wembley pitch. Also
Yeah.
the experience of Man United players who have won FA Cups, who have won Carabao Cups, who have played at Wembley before, who have played international games for their countries at places like Wembley before. They have a massive advantage over Coventry City in this way.
I would like
I
to think.
Yeah. Very, very quickly, I think that also another thing about Manchester United is that I think FA Cup is going to be once again a morale boost for them. And I think more than ever, you saw how determined they are. I mean, they beat Liverpool to get to where they are. So that's a clear indicator that they just might want to at least go home with one trophy or one cup in this case. Yes, Super Muleko.
No, I wanted to say with regards to the fitness of a Coventry, teams that play in the championship for me, actually, I would like to think
They are fit.
they are fitter than they
The amount of games they played out there.
they played 48. Is it 48?
So is that not
crazy.
what I'm talking about?
No.
They've already played that many games.
So what
And
does
they
that
have a
say?
smaller squad than Manchester United. Yes, Man United have a lot of injuries, but they have a much smaller squad.
You know, the likes of your Wiggins have done this before to go all the way to the final.
I understand it's a possibility. I'm
Yes.
talking about my tactical analysis.
Oh, okay.
And from a logical standpoint, Manchester United
getting
have all
hot
of
in
these
there.
drivers. Yeah. Hey, if Man United go, I don't expect Man United to win this anyway.
I am expecting them to win.
I don't expect them to win the
lose.
FA Cup.
But you don't expect them to lose against Coventry.
No, but I don't expect them to win the FA Cup. So if they lose in the semi-final, they lose in the final. How much different is it other than the embarrassment of being eliminated from Coventry?
I mean, ideally, we would have a Manchester United win against Coventry, have a Chelsea win against Man City, and then the chances of Man United then at least raising the trophy would be slightly higher.
Chelsea, I still say, when Chelsea just switches on, they switch on.
But on.
You
Stove
saw
on 6.
you saw how they put Everton to the sword. and this is a Chelsea team that we've been mocking the entire season.
It could be a fun FA Cup final if you watch the league game between Chelsea and Manchester United in London earlier this season. It was an exciting game, and
What
United
happened?
were winning it until the last minutes and then conceded 2 and lost the game to Chelsea.
That's like 2 weeks ago, is it
Yes,
not?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it could be an exciting final to see Chelsea against Manchester United in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
But that is a wrap up of your FA Cup. Let's move on. Let's bring it local. PSL, Sundowns getting a draw against Swallows. Swallows, another point on their way to survival.
Is that the match that Rulani was complaining about?
Yeah, that's the match. Yeah,
What happened, Huntley? Why was he complaining?
It's the offside
The
gate.
officiating.
the offside. Yeah, is complaining about the offside.
And is it a valid
Actually, I
complaint?
believe he says that both goals were offside, but the first one, I think it did not look like offside. It looks like it was a good straight line there.
So the second one is
The
the
second one is an
where-
interpretation problem
of the law.
of the law.
But he was saying we don't have VAR, so why is it that the ref was consulting?
When I was looking at the screen.
Yeah.
What screen?
Yeah,
He was
because
looking
I
at
heard
screen
his
somewhere.
I
That's what
didn't
he
see-
said.
I said
Yeah.
the referee just chasing players away from the linesman and then speaking to the linesman and awarding the goal.
So just hit me up on this. Was it the linesman flagged offside and the referee said the goal stands?
I don't remember if the lineman flagged it.
I think I remember the linesman flagging offside. The minute the ball went to
Okay.
Gabadino Muhango.
Okay. However, if the linesman flagged it offside, doesn't the referee have the right to overrule the linesman?
But from an offside perspective, the linesman has got a better line than the referee does.
Well,
It is his job. It is
Yeah.
his duty.
That's why it line.
But referee has the final say. But you
That's-
must trust your linesman. I agree.
Is it not that sometimes
yeah,
referees
look, I
get
think
intimidated?
Rulani has got a point in a sense that the manner in which, if it was just okay, the lineman didn't flag it up, and then the referee said it's a goal, and then there's a contention whether it was an offside or onside, then it's fair. But if the referee consulted and they had a mini discussion with the linesman, and it looked like they were talking about something else, then they didn't. Yeah, it looks a bit offish.
I love how upset Rulani is, currently sitting 14 points clear of Stellenbosch with a game in hand.
No, but wrong
at
is
the
wrong
top of the
at the
league.
end of the day.
I think it's more of a
Just
principle
move.
and
It
the
is.
integrity of the league that he's fighting
Of
for.
course.
But again, I'm just tired of coaches coming out and having a rant about officials until such time that when your team was not until such time when your opposition is also a victim and you speak out in favor of your opposition, then I'll take you serious.
But then, so, these little margins, yes, Rulani might be spoiled, as it were, because he's got a 14-point lead with a game in hand.
that he worked for is not spoiled. He worked for
Yes.
that 14 points. You can't call it spoiled.
Yeah. You know what I was trying to say.
I don't know.
Okay, cool. You'll figure it out. What I'm saying is, those little mistakes, those margins,
Yeah.
come end of the season, could spell the inches between winning a league or not winning a league, making top 8 or not making top 8,
For other teams, yes.
being relegated or not being relegated. So, and I think what Roland was saying is the same thing that the Amazulu coach was complaining about over the weekend after the
Yes.
Nedbank Cup, complained about referees. It's not the first time officiating in this country is subpar.
That's
By
for
the way,
sure.
which
I agree
body
with
is
you. But what I'm
responsible-
saying is, Len, what I'm saying is we've got a problem, right? And these managers, when it favors them, they keep quiet. Why are they keeping quiet? Why are they not speaking out against officiating?
I didn't see it.
Okay, even so.
Yeah, then you can't have double standards.
human
then,
nature.
Then,
Yes,
then
yes,
that's
yes.
why Peter went out to say, it's my time to benefit and I'll benefit.
Yes, but the reality here, I think we are fighting for nothing because the people that we should be fighting with are who is responsible for the officiating? Is it the PSL? Is it SAFA?
It's Safa.
It's the referee comes from Safa.
We should be directing all this frustration towards SAFA because clearly it's, the officiating is subpar.
Yeah, for sure. But they are not a collective, these people. That's what I'm trying to say.
But Super Sub, here's my gripe with what you're saying, right? If you've got a pothole in your street,
How are we doing, cuz?
right?
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with that pothole. There's nothing to do with me. So why
Until
am
you
I? Why am
get
I
a
gonna-
puncher
why
because
am
of
I-
that pothole.
Why am I gonna help you go and toy there at City of Joburg or unless if I get a puncher from that very same pothole when I visit you,
Yeah.
then yes, your gripe I will understand.
Yes, Mara, don't expect Super Sub to go and strike with you. Go, City of Joburg if it happens to you at that
Okay,
point.
yellow cards
Do you
everywhere.
understand?
I want to move on from this. It's too much.
Okay.
Let's move on to Nedbank Cup, please.
Okay, sure.
We're talking green, we're talking Nedbank, we're talking money. Nedbank Cup,
Potholes.
Super Sub.
Yeah, no. Look, I mean, Orlando Pirates, I think they did well. Regardless of how Franco tried to, I mean, he came out to say the officiating was bad, and to call it a scandal, I think it's bringing the league into disrepute. Mistake happens, but to
very
call it a
spicy for
scandal,
that.
it's like these people conniving.
Rulani.
Yeah, it's. I understand this frustration, but I mean, you had 3 shots on target against Orlando Pirates. How are you hoping to win that match? Yes, I mean maybe your players feel dejected in the first half with the penalty awarded, but you still have 45 minutes to play. A match is not won in one half, like you were saying that we had a better first half.
What was the score line again?
It was 4-2.
Oh, gosh.
A match can be won in one half, eh?
But a game it's 90 minutes.
Granted.
Yeah.
But you can win it in one half.
Well, if that's if the other team is not giving their all.
And psychologically, they're just damaged.
Pirates were firing, and hey.
Look, I just
Speaking of Pirates, Rivera, 100% record so far in Nedbank Cup.
Crazy.
course.
You that team is just something else. I mean, you've got your Makaula scoring a goal and running like a hard body chicken. It just goes to show you that there's so much energy in that team. And yeah, that man is cooking. I just wish whatever he is giving these players in cups can translate into league games, because there is so much inconsistency in league games, and I'm hoping next season is going to be different.
Well, we shall wait to see. Yes, Pirates is impressive in cup competitions.
Yeah.
Pity about what happened in the culling, but now they find themselves with a
Two games.
2 games to defend their title. They defended the MTN 8, ne?
Yeah.
I think they did, yeah.
Yes. Managed to do that as well. So, I mean, basically, is Jose Rivero has not lost a round in cup competitions in this country.
It's a
And
good record.
In 2 cup competitions
Yes,
that
it's,
he's gone
yeah,
on to
yeah,
it's
win.
'cause
8
he-
games, 8 wins.
he did lose in the Carling Cup.
Yeah.
And Orlando Pirates currently sitting in 3rd position in the league, just behind another team who's doing some battering in the Nedbank Cup.
Those ones are like, for me, they're like,
they're winning by fine margins.
yes. But when they do, Stellis
Yeah.
has been a very impressive team for me this season.
And consistent as well.
And a model for other smaller clubs in the PSL to copy.
Guys,
Stellis is a model.
Is Stellis a small club, man? Let's tell the truth.
I said smaller clubs, not small clubs. It's smaller than Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns.
Marco, Stellis is a very, very small club in a South African context.
I agree.
Very small club.
Okay.
But they're a smaller club.
Very, very small.
Small in a context of what?
Yeah?
In which context is it
It
small?
was born 3 years ago. It's very
Okay,
small.
sharp. So are you talking about the legions of fans or what? In
Everything. What cup have they won before?
Culling.
How many?
They just existed now. Didn't
That's
they
what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying they're a very small club.
Okay.
Move on, Marco.
I guess what he meant was they may be a small club, but the things that they are doing, the things that are potentially going to accomplish are those that a big team such as a Kaizer Chiefs should be accomplishing.
They've got big pockets.
A big team like SuperSport United,
Do you understand?
who lost to them and are currently not qualifying for any CAF Champions League football.
I'm sure they were crossing
Maybe on
fingers.
purpose. We've been
They were
saying.
crossing fingers.
Stop with this narrative, guys. I don't believe it. But anyway.
I didn't say anything. I just
Yeah. So the SuperSport United also getting eliminated from the Nedbank Cup, but joining Pirates, Stellies, and Sundowns in the semifinals of the Nedbank Cup. Cheaper United one of the more entertaining teams to watch
You
in
love
South
Chiba.
African football.
Yeah.
The thing I like
Yeah.
the style of they're very entertaining.
They are.
There's no way of not.
They don't
saying
sit
that.
back.
They don't sit back, and they play enterprising football. It hurts them at times,
Yeah.
but hey, if you want to get fans in a stadium, Chipper United is the one to follow, right?
No, definitely. Would you say that ever since Goodman
Good morning, Mr.
went to, is he playing better football at Chippa than he did when he was at Pirates?
Yeah, for sure.
I think the other
And
thing
it
is that
favours
I
cup
think
How many men
competition,
of the
right?
match did you win?
Yeah.
Sorry.
yes,
Please
yes,
probably
One
but
of the leading man of the match recipients from the season.
So
good
it just
for
goes
him.
to show
But
he's having a
remember
better
what
season.
happens at Chipa. If you do not perform, you are out. So there's also that. So you can't get too comfortable. So you have to perform because Mbengesi is very quick when it comes
with
to
the
the
coaches,
trigger.
not with the players.
No, with the coaches, not players.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The
But-
players that are quick to leave
Hey.
are the ones that end up at Pirates.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Speaking of,
Because
okay,
there's an agreement.
looking at the semi-finals of the Nedbank Cup, Mamelodi Sundowns first in the PSL,
Nothing new.
Stellies second in the PSL,
Yeah.
Orlando Pirates third in the PSL,
Hey, but-
Chipper United 10th in the
They're punching
PSL.
above their weight.
Very much well set up for cup competition.
No. It's a good reflection of the league.
I agree. I couldn't
So
agree more.
I think the other thing as well, you almost look at it and a revenge match of sorts. I see a Stellies Pirates final, and I'll tell you why I say that. It looks like whatever Sundowns had in the tank is slowly running out.
Tanked out.
Sundowns have not been impressive in their previous 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, true.
Winning with like very slim margins, playing draws.
a 1-0 against Cape Town Spurs.
They had Richards Bay as well. I think Richards Bay was also a slender win of like
Yeah.
1-0. They were lucky to win on penalties against. Well, not lucky. Ronwen Williams was actually fantastic.
He had a good
King of penalties.
Yeah, in the
He has
Champions League.
He has become that. Yeah.
Yes, in the Champions League. But for them, and I get that the stadium, it was not even, it's Lucas. Lucas is a stadium that they are used to.
Moripe, yeah.
Yes, but for Sundowns to struggle against Amatax,
Yeah.
you would think that Sundowns would have
Tuks are
literally.
very good in cup competition.
Yeah.
And also tags, guys. Let's not forget tags are very good in cup competitions. Like Marco says, they will give you a hard time. And also tags, when it comes to training, they've got one of the best facilities in the country. So their physicality is up there. You know,
Yes.
with
True,
like
because
your
I think
PSL.
Sundowns also does their physical checks and everything else there
Most
at
probably,
Pretoria
a lot of-
University. Yeah.
You mean the how do you call it?
Their center there where
Yes.
That's
Casta used
center.
to
Exactly.
train there.
Yes.
Yeah, they also have a
And the
it's
other
either
one-
Super Sport
Fitness
United
center
or
of some sort.
Sundowns.
No,
yeah.
no, it's not, they call it something as not fitness center. The other thing again that's interesting with Amatax is for them to punch all the way to the quarterfinals while at the same time pushing to be promoted, because coach Tlisani Mutaung, yes, was saying that I don't want to do it the hard way of having to go to playoffs. We know playoffs are a headache. A lot of the teams that go through playoffs end up not having enough time to actually plan for their season because they don't know if they're going to get promoted or not, right? So he says, no, I want to go at it straight. And currently, I think they are second. No, they had a game today against Maritzburg United. If they win that game, they go top of the Motsepe Foundation Championship. So it's Magezi on top. They lost to Maritzburg.
That college, Kenny, it's also there, isn't
Orbit
it?
College.
Yes. Where
No,
is it
but
now?
Orbit has gone down to 4th because JDR Stars has gone to 3rd.
Third, yeah.
So there's a possibility that 2 more teams from Pretoria might just find their way in the DStv
That's
Premiership next season if Amatax and JDR Stars actually get promoted.
We're talking about a decline in form for Sundowns. I want to move on to the CAF Champions League. Sundowns obviously through. We did expect them to go through to the semi-finals. Semi-finals, real business end of the tournament. Sundowns play against Esperance Tunis.
Yeah.
It's
And they're
an
playing away.
HPC. Sorry. I was going back to, and thanks to
High Performance
Naomi.
Center.
Yes,
Yes,
it's an
HBC High
HPC,
Performance
yes.
Center. Yes.
Champions League. North African opponents. I think Sundowns will fare better there than what they
Again,
did.
physicality, right? We
Yes.
just brought that up. Struggle against physical sides.
Yes, like what they did against the Angu. I think it should be a much easier encounter. Not saying it will be
Definitely.
easy.
However, semifinals always a struggle. They're gonna have to travel to Tunis, and maybe a little bit of laser play and whatever will be
Which is something
in
they're
action.
used to.
They're used to that.
Yes, and the second, I'm almost at the second half. The second leg actually playing at Loftus, I think to a degree works in
Sundown's
favour.
favor, always.
yeah. So and
Hey, wait, that came the second leg here, and Lord Mvala did what
Lord Mvala does.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think look, what Sundowns would be eyeing is if they beat Esperance, it's almost automatic entry into the Club World Cup.
Yes.
Oh, yes, of course.
So there's more than a place in the final for them to knock out Esperance.
Yeah,
Speaking
no,
of the final, Al Ahly TP Mazembe.
Ahly definitely.
No,
I think so, hey?
definitely. No, it's an easy one for all.
Ahly definitely.
So again, Sundowns against Al
Mazembe is
Ahly.
no longer the Mazembe of
Mazembe.
Of yesteryear.
of yesteryear, where
Yeah.
they used to do other things than
What was
play
it? The 90s and
No,
the-
no, just
Even the
now,
2000s,
recently.
yeah.
No, just now, 2010, 11.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
started playing football and they okay with it. They're not very good at it. They were very good with other things.
Yeah, they were very good with other things
What do you mean, guys?
that
we
are
are
done
not there.
outside football.
dark arts.
Yeah, dark art.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a wrap of the CAF Champions League. Tepi, darling, let's jet
Yes,
around the
Ignis.
world with you. This is
Ooh, my
around the
iPad just
world
died,
with.
but okay.
Is the engine not warm, Tepi?
No, the engine is scorching hot, my darling. Stove is
Okay.
always on 6.
On
What?
Oh, lo, Tuesday nights for you. This is Around the World with Tepi Worldwide, brought to you by Betway and the Aviator game. Be sure to play the Aviator game where you can cash out before the little plane jets right off, and you can be like one of those 5 instant millionaires that we saw a couple of weeks ago in the Aviator app. Brought to you by Betway. Get way more, darling.
Thanks, darling. So just tell me if you think that this was an unfair decision, and if you were to be the head of this organization or this federation, would you have made the same decision? It says that a former Liverpool midfielder, Naby Keita, we know him, he faces consequences for refusing to play for the Bremen match after being told he will not be in the starting lineup. It was going to be a match that he was not going to start, against Bayer Leverkusen. The former Liverpool midfielder has found himself in a contentious situation after refusing to play. It says here that during the recent match against Bayer Leverkusen, Keita was informed that he would not be included in the starting lineup. In response, Keita refused to be part of the match day squad altogether. And the response came from Clemens Fritz, who is the managing director of Bremen. And he says that he has been suspended until the end of the season. He has also received a substantial fine for his conduct. And as a result, Keita will no longer train with the team or be part of the first team dressing room. He did obviously deny it and say that's not what happened. My question is, was it unfair? Were they too harsh, or was it really granted?
No, he signed a contract. He must listen to the coach.
Yes,
That's
because
it.
it's saying that
But I
he...
feel like there's more that meets the eye in this story.
Okay, tell me why.
I don't think there's any professional footballer who will be told that you're not going to be part of match day squad and decided that I'm going home.
Aubameyang did
Or
that.
I'm not going to be part of the starting
It's 11 and then say I'm going
and say
home.
I'm not going to even appear on the bench.
Aubameyang did something or something.
Extremely unprofessional.
Aubameyang has done something similar.
To
What
be
did he do?
honest, I feel for Naby Keita on this one a little bit, just
Okay.
because I'm surprised he's fit. I don't think he understands what it's like to be in a match day squad because of injuries.
Okay.
It's
So,
like
for him to go home.
Keita for me is a bit like Thiago.
Yeah.
He's a player that you've seen photos of them in a Liverpool shirt, but do you
But
even
not
remember them
really.
playing?
What
Yeah.
That's how
played
much
like, yeah.
injuries there.
Yeah.
There was an Arsenal player who had a similar problem. What's his name? Diaby.
Definitely not Chaka.
No, Shaka is.
He's got no problems. Not a problem in the world.
And he's winning championships.
Yeah, Granit Xhaka is winning cups. Leave him alone.
You just have to leave Arsenal. But anyway.
No, he was winning FA Cups. Aye.
Sorry, lad. Yeah, I feel like there's something that probably is in the manner in which he's been treated, because I don't think a player in his right mind can can just leave because of that. I think there's more into this story, and it's probably gonna come out later.
Maybe also
Let's
it's
wait
a
for that
personal
news.
bit of an issue. Maybe he feels as though because he has obviously had so many injuries, and he feels as though maybe his chances of him ever even being a starting player are slowly dwindling, and maybe that's how he's expressing his frustration.
I think he's a spoiled brat. But anyway, unprofessional
If that is
play.
the
Let's
case, yeah.
jet off. Where we off to next, darling?
Okay, so where were we?
We were in Germany.
We were in Germany, yes. Okay, so now we move over to Spain. It says here that a television channel, it is called Movistar Plus One, says it will stop working with a pundit and former Atletico Madrid assistant coach. His name is Germano Burgos, following a derogatory comment he made about a 16-year-old Barcelona star. His name is Lamine Yamal. Now, it says here, and I'm quoting what he said, and it was actually very disgusting. He says, and this was a first leg match against PSG, which happened last week. And he says that, mind you, this Yamal was juggling a football, right? Just before the match. And he said that if his football career doesn't go well, he'll end up at a traffic light. Now, I'm giving you a bit of some context here. So it said here that it's not uncommon to see people sell small items or trinkets or juggle footballs, among other things, for money at traffic lights in Argentina, though he was spent, and mind you, this young boy comes from Argentina. So it was basically saying that you are going to go back to the slums and do what your people do. And because of that, he was removed and he was labeled classist and racist. What do we say about this one?
Yeah, the world is sensitive, eh?
Sure.
You really
Is
have
it
to
that
watch.
deep?
If your career doesn't go well, you'll juggle a ball at the traffic lights and then you boot him.
Yeah, no, that's
You
what I'm
can't
saying.
even be
my thing
harsh
is-
as a pundit anymore
Yes,
at all.
but my thing is,
Was it racist then classist?
Yeah, but had it been like maybe a white footballer, would he have also shared the same sentiments? Would have said something like that?
You know what's funny?
If he had, he wouldn't have got into trouble.
Because of
You know what's funny, right? A couple of years ago, I think it was, was it 2010 or 2014? Nike came out with an ad where Wayne Rooney he lost the ball during a game or something happened. It was one of those Nike
you can do
super
it type of
ad, right? So, and then after Wayne Rooney lost the ball in that ad, then the crowd, it was actually ahead of a World Cup. The crowd was very angry at Wayne Rooney and throwing things. And then the next shot after that shows him as a washed out, big bearded,
Drunk on the street in a
Loser.
pub sort of thing. Yeah.
not even at a pub, at a trailer park.
Yes. I
Right?
remember that.
Yes. So was Nike being classist then?
Hey man, I think the world is way more sensitive now
I
than
agree.
it
That's
was
what I'm
10
saying.
years
Yeah, I
ago.
agree.
And also, it's not from Argentina.
He was, but he was born in Argentina but spent most of his life in Spain.
Because what if the pundit was, because we want to look at this thing from both sides of the coin. What if the pundit was merely saying, if the football doesn't work out at Barcelona, you can go juggle a ball at traffic lights and probably make more money than you would trying to play football.
I think
Nah,
it's a
that's
bit
not gonna
harsh.
happen, though.
Yeah, look, according to what I'm getting, he was born in Catalonia in Spain to a Moroccan father and Equatorial Guinea mother. That's what I'm getting.
A Guinean mother.
Yes. But Tepi, what I'm saying is, I think, it might look bad.
Oh no, sorry. It says here that he had spent most of his time in Spain as both player and coach. Oh, we're talking about the actual,
The coach,
the pundit.
the pundit's
Sorry.
Argentinian, okay.
Yes, the pundit, yes. He is from Spain.
Yamal is from Spain, right?
Yes.
So,
And yeah.
yeah, I guess it's one of those where you really have to.
Because he's a person of color, they've taken it
Yes,
sensitive.
because it's a person of color, you have to really watch what you say. It's the same thing
Whatever,
as
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing as the Chiro story. You can't. There's certain things that you can't
Oh,
do.
yes, it says the cashier situation.
Yeah. Previously disadvantaged people will be triggered by such kind of comments.
Yeah, it's like
So
saying
whatever
a
happened
black
to
woman is
sensitive,
angry.
whatever happened to sensitivity training?
Wait, let me ask. So if I say, Super Sub, your comments on this podcast are literally wearing very thin, before you know it, we're going to kick you out of the podcast and send you back to the village. Am I being classist?
Well,
No, but you're black, so you also might have an experience of a village or something that is
what happens in the village? That's the
Disenfranchised.
question.
I don't
That
know,
too.
but there's a perception. What happens in Argentina at traffic lights? What if people have become millionaires from traffic lights in Argentina?
that's
There's a
ridiculous.
Brazilian player there's a Brazilian what you call these players, the kickers, those ones who's like famous.
Freestylers.
He's a freestyler. He's famous and he's a millionaire because of being a freestyler.
Freestyling, yes. And juggling is part of freestyling.
But again, it's if you're a person of color, you will always be triggered by certain comments. That's the bottom line, and I think people has to really watch what they say.
But
The
it's
world is
unfortunate
sensitive.
because I feel like being a pundit is also being kind of spicy, and I think we're going to lose that.
It's
But
like
there
a
is also-
comedian.
it's
Where
a
do you
thin
draw the line?
Yeah, it's a thin line.
Okay.
Very, very quickly, let's come to Mzansi, and this one is just as you know, Kaizer Chiefs soccer player Luke Fleurs, he was laid to rest last week. And obviously the 6 people who are responsible for his death have been found. Condolences to his family. What a loss for Kaizer Chiefs.
Well, it's a loss for South African football.
I agree.
Yeah.
He had
Ne?
not played for Chiefs yet.
It
eh?
sucks.
No, he had not
Yeah, he
ended a
was going to be a
single
defender.
Yeah,
cap.
that's sad, man.
Yeah.
Just when he was starting.
Dream come true and then it gets shattered
Yeah,
because people think they've got more right to your property than you do.
Yeah.
never mind. You have more right to my property, but don't have more right to my life. You know, take the car. I will work for another one. If it means I don't buy another car, it's fine. As long as I'm alive, I've got another opportunity
You've got a
to
pair
do
of legs
great.
to get to wherever you
know,
need to go. Yeah.
I mean, this thing of shooting a young person like that in cold blood, it's really, 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 it makes my blood boils. Like, I don't understand what country are we living in.
Yeah, this is a conversation beyond the
Ghetto.
game.
It's
Right, this is a conversation beyond the game, and it shows that it just accentuates what is happening in our country and the substantial need for change. And during an election year, I think it's something for us to all
PSG's
remember. And I don't
cooking.
want to get, PSG currently have a penalty and they're already leading in the fixture with a 4-4 on aggregate. If PSG do finish this penalty, they will go ahead on aggregate, and Barcelona crumbling at
red
the
card.
moment.
That
And
red
in
card.
saying that, I would love to get to watching this game. So,
That's all we have for you worldwide, you
thank
guys.
you so much, darling. That was Around the World with Tepi Worldwide, brought to you by Betway and the Aviator game. Betway, get way more. Speaking of Betway, get way more. Thank you so much for joining us
But
here
wait,
on
before
Onside
we
today.
get out of
Yes,
here,
sir.
remember the like the Champions League? We are in the quarterfinal stage. There's a promotion that Betway is running.
There's a promotion that Betway is running
Yes.
currently
Yes.
on the Champions League quarterfinals,
Yes.
on the
Because we are
knockout
on the
stages.
quarterfinal stage of the
Len,
Champions League.
please, you're very
Yes,
excited
please.
about this announcement,
us.
sir.
Be ready for history to be made because
Thank goodness, like
Betway
Rich.
is giving away 200,000 rands in extra bets every game week, up to 100,000 rands in cash.
wow.
Incredible. So make sure to get your bets in on the Betway app. Bet on PSG to go through in this round. Do it now. Do it now.
Before you go, Marco,
Yes, sir.
it will be. I don't think we'll have done justice to this show
Without
without
snap.
mentioning
Marco.
Bayer Leverkusen winning.
Oh yeah, congratulations, Xabi Alonso.
Yes.
What a feat.
Unbeaten all season so far. They could go all the way in the Europa League as well.
Well, they've already nibbled West Ham.
Yeah.
2-0, eh?
Very, very quickly, guys. So our winner.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes.
We had during the interview with Prof. Palacios, we did a giveaway. Tippy, please announce the winner of our Betway shirt.
A drum roll, please. Okay, so
Tabang, don't you want to give us some vuvuzelas
some
there?
drums or something. Yes. The winner is Taliso Liadzakatane. 6267. So you have won yourself an extra large Betway t-shirt as well as a bucket. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So just send us a DM.
Yeah, send a DM to the Onside ZA Instagram page and we'll make sure you get your merch. Otherwise, from me and from everyone in Bayer Leverkusen and from everyone in the Champions League, especially those in Paris right now,
Wow.
a very big thank you to you, the ballers, and a thank you to you, Len Moleko,
German.
Tsepi Worldwide,
Thank you, baby.
and Super Sub. We are on side. Stay on side with us. Don't be offside. Be on side with us. And Betway, where you get way more.
Danko.
Danko means thank you.